Hey guys, how are we doing? Crypto Insight UK here, bringing you back another YouTube video. Now, obviously, I've been in Singapore. If you have kept up with my ex, you would see that. I was there I flew with Redacted Airways on Sunday. I landed Monday, 4 a.m. Singapore. Been there until yesterday. Got back into Dubai about 3 a.m. So I'm pretty tired. I won't update you too much on Singapore right now because a lot is going on in the markets. I can leave that for another time, or maybe on a deeper dive episode or something. But I want to just get into the crypto markets because there's loads going on, and the markets in general. We had monumental decision coming from the Fed, the first rate cut in like 4 years, and it was actually 50 bips rather than 25 that everyone was expecting. Everyone's now in full bull mode, and I'm just going to give a bit of an overview. I've literally got so much to talk about that I don't know if I can fit it all into one video, but I'm going to get more in depth into what I'm looking for more positive signs going forward in my weekly newsletter. So go and check that out. It's released tomorrow. Anyway, getting into it. On the weekly, Bitcoin doesn't look too bad. The RSI potentially about to cross bullish. But let's see what happens by the end of the week. We've got the weekend coming up. And a few things to me are making me feel a little bit nervous and a little bit on edge. But before actually, I'll leave that to the end. We'll leave the good parts to the end, and we'll go a little bit negative to start with. So if we look at structure on the daily time frame, I've been tweeting about this morning. In fact, it's probably easier to get my Twitter up to show you the tweets. I've been tweeting about this morning. If we look at structure for Bitcoin specifically, I think we're worried about here. We're back at like the recent swing high. So we've been ranging, as you can clearly see, between this area here at like 50k and 70k. We've been ranging. Even within that, we've had like sub ranges where the middle of the range has acted as resistance. We bounced up, banged ahead on resistance, came back down, found again support, and then bounced up, and now we're at that middle of the range resistance, just at a time where everyone's getting bullish. That token 2049 is going on. People are getting excited. Sorry, I've lost my voice a little bit. And we've got a hidden bearish divergence form, which is where we've got a higher high in price. Sorry, a lower high in price and a higher high on the RSI and the oscillator. But that being said, actually that's not the next image. This is the next image. And to support that even more, that there could potentially could be a bearish divergence here. Our open interest, as we can see at the bottom here, is at the same level that it was when Bitcoin was up and touched the 70k region last. We've got the same level of open interest now, and after that we flushed all the way down to like 50k. So is it possible we could flush to like 45? It is possible. It's not necessarily my base case, but also as well as that, we're seeing funding spike massively, meaning that probably a lot of these last few green candles is leverage based move, as more longs are coming into the market than shorts off the back of the FOMC news. That's the last one. I don't know why it's not showing this in order. However, having said that, we've got liquidity, as you can see here on Trading Different. We've got liquidity between 65k and 67k, so we may come up with that liquidity out before coming down. That was potential there. And finally, let's see if we can get this last image. I said that's what something like this would look like. If we did go up for that liquidity there, we would form a larger hidden bearish divergence as potentially into the oversold area before we then potentially continue to sell off and come down and test these lows. So is that definitely going to happen? No. Is that what traders will be looking for? Yes, guys. So that's what I wanted to say to you. Like, do I want that to happen? No. I'm mainly long in alts. I think they're going to probably perform pretty well. Let's have a look at Bitcoin dominance. It started to take a bit of a pullback. I've been saying this is on the weekly time frame. I think it's more clear on the weekly. We've got a bearish divergence on the weekly time frame. Again, the opposite of what we're just seeing, where we're getting higher highs in price action and lower highs in RSI. Sorry, exactly the same as what we've just been seeing. I'm not really with it because it's like I've had probably 4 hours sleep every night for a week, too much alcohol, trying to meet people. Not very good at socializing in person anymore. So although it's not a great habit, like having a drink with it makes it a bit easier. But yeah. Anyway, enough of that. Making higher highs and lower highs in the RSI. So Bitcoin dominance, I want to see fall down. That could mean that alts could start to push here, but then we do want to see Bitcoin break through all-time high and everything expand together. So just keep around Bitcoin dominance. I feel like it could probably come up to the top of this range, maybe towards like 60% and then before having a flush out. But that probably happens when alts drop or the market drops, if Bitcoin drops like slightly less fast. Another thing that I've actually thrown some shade at recently is Solana. Again, on the weekly, it doesn't look too bad, but I do feel like, and I've shown this on Velo, and oh yes, I've got a tweet for that as well. Let's have a little look at Sol on. So this is Solana on Velo. We're looking at open interest here. Again, open interest is nearly, when it touches this purple box, as high as it was when Solana was at $180 odd, or wicked all the way to 192 actually. Excuse me. $192, and look at the funding, like massively green compared to where we have been. In fact, about as high as it was in terms of positive funding when we were at that $192, and we're only at 150, like 151 right now. So it's being backed at least, well, quite obviously a lot by open interest. Very nice candles if you're a Sol fan, but I personally believe, and this is just short-term push, maybe we come up and take the liquidity above here before coming down, but I don't know for sure. This is why I'm saying, like, I think we've been in the eye of the storm, and I said for weeks that I think September is going to be weird. It started off really bad, and now it's really good, and then I don't know what the next stage is going to be, but I think the market is just digesting these rate cuts that we've had. If we have a look at the S&P, the S&P's set all-time highs. I'm pretty sure S&P's at all-time highs right now, yeah. But look, today it's opening quite a lot lower than it closed yesterday. So could that be the catalyst to start some sort of, or 0.5% lower, to start some sort of sell? I don't know. And if we look at the Russell 2000, I want to look at that as well, because a lot of people have been talking about that, because blockchain backer brought the attention to it. Let me just show you. Here we go. It's still struggling on its retracement levels, so everyone's starting to get excited, but we're yet to see any confirmation one way or another. One of the things we've been talking about a lot on this channel is the DXY, but also gold. DXY is still, again, sitting at the bottom of its range. Could it come up? I said this is the level I thought it would reverse at, in and around here between like 102 and 102.9. We didn't quite make that, so could that come up and touch that? I don't know. And gold, again, is breaking out to all-time highs. You could argue because of as a hedge for monetary inflation. But if you were going to argue that, you would think that Bitcoin would really start to send it here. And although we are up like 0.5% or whatever, you probably want to be seeing like days where we do 5-10% to try and get us out of this range, and then continue with that. That's what I would be looking for if we wanted to go like cross more bullish for Bitcoin. So as you can see with my thoughts and what I'm explaining to you guys, like I'm flip-flopping all over the place. We're waiting to see how the market digests the Bank of Japan's 0.25, keeping rates at 0.25. We're waiting to see how the market digests the Fed cutting. Ultimately, long term, I do think it's bullish. This is what I wrote a few weeks ago. I think we're here and here. If you look at exactly where I've highlighted, we did have 2 weeks of green where we pushed towards that top of that box, and then 2 weeks of pullback before we sent it. Now we've had 2 weeks of green, we're pushing towards the top of the box. Are we going to have 2 weeks of pullback before sending it? That would take us into early to mid-October, which is when I've been saying I think price is going to kick up. And like, will I be right? Like, honestly, I don't know. This is just what I'm seeing, and I'm showing you what I see. What we want to see, though, is when we do start to get this kick up, we want to see an uptick in spot volume, and we're not seeing that at the minute. We're seeing like a depreciation in spot volume. So let's say here we start to come down a little bit. Here we start to come down a little bit. Funding's high. Let's see. Funding spiked here, and then it came down the week that we set off because we started to get supported by spot buying. So that's what I'm basically looking out for, guys. In terms of Bitcoin, I'm looking out for rotation. I'm going to go more in depth on this in the weekly newsletter. I'm looking out for more of a rotation from gold because, again, I still think people are being defensive as they buy a lot of gold, and I think that will probably continue. Maybe gold continues to go higher, but I do think it probably has a short-term pullback. as some people rotate and chase gains in Bitcoin whenever the signal is that Bitcoin and crypto is going to start rallying. But again, it could be a week, could be 2 weeks, could be 3 weeks. I don't know. I think, as I said, mid to late October is the latest when I think we start to go green. But until then, or until something changes that changes my mind, I'm still sitting on the sidelines, I guess. Finally, I just saw something interesting today for XRP. I'll show you the XRP ETH, XRP Bitcoin chart. They've pulled back quite significantly. XRP ETH has pulled back to the level that we've been looking for closes above, after not actually setting a higher candle close than we have previously. However, I don't think this is awful, although if we start to lose these levels, it might pull back. Again, almost looking for liquidity before we send higher. The RSI doesn't look great on the daily and on the weekly. We are looking at forming a bearish engulfing at resistance, but let's see again what happens. If we hold above this level for the weekly time frame, it's not negative at all, it's pretty good. And for Bitcoin, we again are just banging our head on resistance, but I do think that rotation will come into XRP very soon, and we've seen this outperformance so far. We haven't got the complete confirmation yet. Everyone's probably moving their short-term liquidity into Solana. Solana's pumping, and we've got a lot of hype coming for Solana right now. But I thought this was interesting from Anders. So Ripple Swell is the 15th and 16th of October, and they've got their community night on the 17th. Ripple Swell obviously is like the equivalent of Solana Breakpoint or whatever, but for Ripple, not actually the XRP ledger, but for Ripple the company. And the interesting thing for me is that the SEC's decision comes latest 7th of October. So on the 7th of October, we'll then have a week before Swell. That's when you could probably start to see some bullish sentiment coming towards the XRP price. So that's something that I'll be watching out for. If we just look at XRP on the weekly time frame, we're just sitting at resistance. We need something to come through and help us push through this heavy resistance level. We're sort of just chopping around, biding our time. Nothing too much to report on right now. Keeping my eye on XRP, Bitcoin, XRP, ETH, but mainly keeping my eye on what Bitcoin does, what gold does, the DXY, and equities do as well, as the market tries to digest what's going on with and reads into why the Fed's cut 50 bips and what the next steps are going to be for the markets in general. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, guys. Is there anything that I've missed that you want me to talk about? And please share this with a friend if you did enjoy. I'll be back to full strength very soon and still recovering. Not enough sleep. A lot of meeting people, very frazzled right now. But appreciate you all. Thank you for tuning in. Peace up, A-Town Downs, Crypto Insight UK would say.